Hey guys, so what is up? RedPandaMining here. How you guys all doing? I hope you're all doing really well. Having a really great day. In this video, I want to figure out the power consumption of a 6x RX 580 rig, 4GB cards. The reasons why I want to do it is because I've been seeing some crazy numbers recently of, power consumptions for the RX 580. And I feel like there has been some optimizations in the past year. And I haven't used HiveOS, I would say, for the Polaris cards for a long time. And now I've been, playing around with these RX 580s that you guys know that I just recently got. And I've been getting some insane, just some really good efficiency off these Polaris cards, and I didn't think that it was possible. But yeah, I've been testing out 3 RX 580, the MSI Armor OC Edition cards, and I was getting about 330 watts or 340 watts at the wall, getting about 90 mega hash for the whole rig. So in HiveOS, it was showing about each card was doing about 65 to 70 watts or something. So yeah, pretty good. And for the cost of these cards and for the mega hash that you get, it's pretty good. It's actually really good. Your break-even time or ROI, depending what term you guys want to use, is going to be really fast on these cards. So whether or not you can get a good deal on these cards for mining till this day, it may be the best GPU for mining. But I want to see if these power savings are true. So we're going to get the exact power consumption at the wall there with the power meter for the whole system. And I just quickly built this Veta frame here with a 1200 watt power supply and a Gigabyte Z270P with a G3930 using HiveOS right now. And we can see at the computer, HiveOS can see the rig. Obviously I don't have any GPUs in it right now, but I will in a second here. So what I'm gonna do, it's gonna be something a little bit different. I'm gonna add a GPU one by one and a riser. Thank you GPUrisers.com for the risers. So I'm gonna add in one GPU at a time, and then we're gonna see what the power consumption is at the wall, and then we're gonna add a second one, see what the power consumption is, so on and so forth. I'm gonna jot down all of the power consumptions every time we add a card, and then we'll come back and analyze, wow, the power consumption is either really good or really bad when you make a 6-card rig. So that's something that I've always wondered about. So I'm gonna be using, the MSI Armor Edition cards here. These are all Hynix memory ones. So yeah, we're gonna take the 6 of them and just test out each one. I was gonna do the Sapphire Nitros, but I don't know which one is Hynix and which one is Alpida. I should have divided those when I was testing them out earlier, but it's okay. All right guys, so let's get started. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna put this in, and we're gonna see what the power consumption and the hash rate we can achieve first on this rig, all right? So I'll be right back. Okay, got the first Armor 584 gig in, and it's just starting to hash. Right now on Ethermine, we're getting about 29.9, almost 30 mega hash. But the power consumption at the wall, this is the big thing that we're trying to figure out here. We want to get efficiency. So the whole rig, the whole system is taking about 130 watts at the wall. And if we go to HiveOS, and we can see in the software here, let me just give it a refresh. It should be showing here about, 29, 30 mega hash. And we are using, it says, about 60 watts power consumption in the software. Now these are the settings that I'm using just to show you guys as well. Let me show you in here as well. Let me go to edit, and you can see exact settings that I'm using in case some of you guys want to try it. Not like mining advice and anything, use at your own risk, but yeah, these are the settings that I'm using. 1100 core state 1, 790 core voltage. I'm actually not sure if this actually makes an effect or not, but I tried 780 and it would freeze, it wouldn't mine at all. So for me, 790 seemed to work. Then we did memory clock at 2000, mem state 1, and then we have fan at 60, just whatever temperature your guys' ambient is right now. I have mine at 60. I have the aggressive undervolting checked off here, green, and then I have refresh rate at 20. Okay, so those are the settings I'm using, and yeah, it looks like it seems to be good. Okay, so I'm gonna record what I see here. This is just with one GPU, you guys can see, and yeah, the whole power consumption at the wall, we're using, 130 watts. Okay, so yeah, the system idle was about 40 to 45 watts, so the GPU itself is probably taking about 60 to 70 watts at the wall. and give or take, because you know, with the power supply we have to factor in some efficiency that's being lost, and so it's using a little bit more power. But hopefully once we add more GPUs, we should hopefully theoretically get to that efficiency rate. I don't really know the efficiency curve on the EVGA 1200 watt P2, but we'll see in a sec what the whole power consumption is at the wall. Okay, I'm gonna shut her down, add the second card, and we'll see what the power consumption is. Alrighty, the second card is in. The hash rate we're getting, 29.9, 30 mega hash. And at the wall, we are at 235 watts. So if we minus out the motherboard CPU, initially it's like another 45, 50 watts. So we're using about 180 watts for the two RX 580s here. So in my head, either we are using about 160 watts, give or take, and then the power supply inefficiency or efficiency is taking another 20 or 40 watts. I'm not sure. That's always hard to gauge, but you know, realistically, that's how much we're taking, about 80 watts per GPU right now. And if we go to HiveOS, let me just refresh it here. And yeah, both are Hynix cards, and yeah, the hash rate's right there, and it says we're using about 60 watts in the software. So total 121 watts. So we can see the delta. Initially we're using 130 watts with one card, but adding the second RX 580, it has basically jumped another 107, 105 watts by the looks of it. Okay, so give or take another maybe 20 watts for riser, power supply efficiency, something like that. Maybe we can just say the GPU is taking another 100 watts or so. Okay, so let's add in the next RX 580, and I'm thinking maybe we should jump to about 340 watts. Okay, so let's try that right now. Okay, third one is booting up. I just want to take note, the actual idle power consumption now is about 60 to 70 watts. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the risers may be taking some initial power. Looks like, cause yeah, now that we have three on. Actually, maybe not the risers, but the GPUs themselves use a little bit of power. So that's why the idle power consumption is a little bit higher. So that's a good thing to note as well. Okay, so with the three cards in, you guys can see we're getting about 90 mega hash, and at the wall, most importantly, we are now getting 346 watts. So actually I had to bump up the third GPU here to 820 core just to show you guys. Right here we have moved up the core because it wouldn't start hashing, so I think it just need a little bit more juice. But you guys can see here it says it's using about 61 watts in the software, and power consumption says 181 in the software, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, look at that, we can basically minus out the delta. We were getting about 235, 240 before, so we've added on another 100 and maybe 108, 110 watts. So yeah, alright, I'm gonna record this and we'll add in the fourth GPU. Okay, four of them are running now, and we are getting 120 mega hash, and the power consumption at the wall is 452 watts. So look at that, we have added basically another 100 watts yet again. So initially we were at 350 with three, now we are at about 450 for the four GPUs here. So total hash rate right now is 120 mega hash. And just to verify for you guys in the HiveOS, let me just refresh it here, and it shows, yeah, we're getting about 30 mega hash per card. And I forgot to tell you guys, I actually had to bump up the core voltage to 800. So I was getting some instability stuff, and I'm gonna assume, you know, later on I will have to make this rig a little bit more stable, but it seems to be okay for now. That one card I had to run at 820 millivolts there for the core. So it says it's using about 64 watts now, versus the other ones are using like 60 to 62, and the whole power consumption according to the software is 246, but at the wall, just to show you guys finally one last time, is 450. Okay, so let's add on the fifth GPU. Let's go. 5 RX 580, 4 gigabytes are in. They are now mining. We're getting 30 mega hash each, roughly about 150 mega hash now. Total system, and now the total system power consumption is 565 watts. So it looks like we've added another I would say 105 watts or so, because before we were at 455, 450. So there we go. That looks like it is good with 5 RX 580s. Man, that is crazy. I remember like 2 years ago, maybe I was getting with like 3 or 4 of them, like maybe close to 500, 600 watts with just 4. But now it looks like the RX 580s have definitely been optimized a lot more, especially in Hive OS. So yeah, wow, Hive OS has been pretty good on this. Okay guys, well, let me go ahead now and we're gonna plug in the final 6th GPU and we will see the final power consumption with 6 RX 580s. So let me put that in now. Okay, 6 GPUs all in now. And I actually love Hive OS because they were able to tell me which slot wasn't working. So actually the motherboard that I have in here right now, the Gigabyte Z270P, the first, like the full 16 PCIe lane there, it just would not work. And thank goodness Hive OS was telling me the PCIe 1 was just not working. Or it was not telling me PCIe 1, but it was telling me like a 0100 PCIe lane. And no matter what I did, every time I tried a different riser in it as well, but that slot right there, the full 16 PCIe X16 would not work. So I put in a M.2 to PCIe adapter, and now the rig is able to mine. So we are getting about, 180 mega hash for the whole rig, almost 180 mega hash, 179, you guys can see there. But the biggest thing, the reasons why we're doing this test is because of the power consumption. So the whole rig is doing about 180, 170, it's jumping around a lot actually, but realistically we're getting about 180 watts at the wall for the whole total system on this rig. So wow, that is actually the most efficient that I've ever seen on a 6x RX 580 rig, 4GB cards, mining on Ethereum right now on Ethermine. That's just nuts. And yeah, looks like we hit 180 mega hash now, but yeah, look at that. We're finding some shares and the temperatures seem to be fine. So let's go to the actual Hive OS here. And I actually inputted all my stuff here, you guys can see. So actually we'll talk about this in a sec. Let me just do a refresh on here. And okay, so these are all Hynix memory MSI Armor Edition cards. It shows we're getting about 30 mega hash per card. Power consumption is about 63, 60, you know, and some different ones here. I have set the core voltage, the VDD, a little bit different on each one because so that they're stable. So we got 810, 810, 810, 820, and 800 for the first two. Okay, but the power consumption in the software says 373, but at the wall we were shown that we are actually getting about 670 to 680. So actually I'm gonna put 680 right here. Okay, so the whole system, guys, that's really good. Let me know down below if you guys are able to get this or have seen these kind of numbers before. To be honest, I haven't played with Polaris cards religiously for the past, I would say, a year and a half. I've been into like Radeon 7s and 1080 Ti's and all those kind of cards, but you know, just for density. But now that I've been playing with 4GB cards, the 580s, this power consumption to me is actually really good. And if I were to compare like having maybe like 2 Radeon 7s, which as we know they cost like what, an arm and a leg, 2 of them would equal to about 180 mega hash as well. But the power consumption at the wall for 2 of them, when I tested it before, would be about 600 watts. Okay, so what would you guys rather have, 6 580s or 2 Radeon 7s? And if we were comparing the price of 6 580s, 4GB cards right now, which you can probably buy on the used market for about, you know, between $60 to $100, depend where you're buying it from. For me, I got them for about $50. So I spent about $300 just for the 6 GPUs. We're not including the power supply, the motherboard, all that kind of stuff. But realistically, you know, comparing $300 to 2 Radeon 7s, which at the moment I believe would be about $1,600, $1,800 USD, just for 2 Radeon 7s. So for that kind of money, you can buy 5 more like 6x RX 580s for that much and get like 5 times more the hash rate. But then you are using, you know, more power consumption, but you're also getting more hash rate as well. So that is crazy. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, well guys, I think that's it. That's all I want to do in this video. Let me know what you think. And I guess in terms of profitability, this rig must be doing well. Actually, let me bring up what to mine. Okay, so I've selected 6 580s, but we are actually going to put in our actual numbers here. So 180 mega hash, and the power consumption here says 780, but we are actually getting 680 at the wall. And now 10 cents kilowatt hour, we'll just do 24-hour profitability. As of making this video, the general profitability for my 6x RX 580 rig is $3.25 after 10 cents kilowatt hour. That is pretty good for the year 2020. And if we had free electric, we'd be making $4.88. And obviously, if we're mining Ethereum Classic, we'd gain a little bit more profitability. But as we know right now, the withdrawal times, the confirmation times are pretty long to receive your rewards. But as you guys know, I made the video yesterday talking about the Ethereum Classic maybe lowering the DAG. So that may be something. Look at that, we'll be making 1 Ethereum Classic a day right now as of making this video on a single RX 580 rig. And that is pretty ballin'. That's awesome. Okay guys, well that's it for this video. Please let me know what you think, and man, I'm really happy about this. The power consumption is just insane. And yeah, oh, it looks like it's gone up to 690 now, but that's okay, still amazing. Alright my friends, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good one, and peace out.